The engine on my trusty sedan sputtered its last breath on a Tuesday morning, the kind of inconvenient death that only happens when you have the most important client meeting of your career. My wife, Clara, was a saint. "Just take my car, honey," she said, tossing me the keys to her pristine white SUV. "Just don't spill any coffee in it." I laughed, promising to treat her baby with the utmost care. Clara's car was her sanctuary. It always smelled faintly of vanilla and was so meticulously clean you could probably perform surgery on the dashboard. Mine, on the other hand, was a rolling testament to a life with 2 kids and a daily commute. As I settled into the plush leather driver's seat, I felt a pang of guilt. This car was a symbol of how organized and perfect Clara was, while I always felt like I was barely keeping my head above water. Driving her car felt foreign. The seat was positioned for her shorter frame, so I fumbled with the electronic controls to slide it back. As the seat whirred into place, something glinted on the floor mat. I reached down and picked it up. It was a single, silver cufflink, shaped like a small, intricate knot. It wasn't mine. My style was more free button from the dry cleaner than bespoke silver accessory. I shrugged, figuring it must have belonged to one of her colleagues. She was a partner at a high-powered law firm. They probably dripped with cufflinks and expensive watches. I tossed it into the center console cup holder and forgot about it, my mind shifting to the presentation I was about to give. The meeting went better than expected. I was flying high, feeling like I had finally secured my family's future. On the way home, I decided to celebrate by taking Clara and the kids out to dinner. I reached for my phone to call her, but the battery was dead. No problem, I thought, remembering Clara kept a spare charger in the glove box. I popped it open. There, nestled between the car's manual and a stack of napkins, was a small, folded receipt. My curiosity got the better of me. It was from the Gilded Sparrow, an incredibly expensive romantic restaurant downtown we'd talked about going to for our anniversary but never did. The date on the receipt was from 3 weeks ago, a Thursday. I remembered that Thursday distinctly. Clara had called to say she was stuck at the office, closing a massive deal. She didn't get home until after midnight, exhausted. The receipt was for 2 people, 2 tasting menus, a bottle of vintage champagne. The total came to over $600. The most chilling part? It was paid in cash. A cold dread, heavy and suffocating, settled in my stomach. The cufflink in the cup holder suddenly felt less like a random object and more like a piece of evidence. Who was she with? Why lie about it? The work dinner excuse suddenly seemed paper thin. When I got home, I tried to act normal. Clara greeted me with a kiss, asking how the meeting went. I mumbled something positive, the words feeling like ash in my mouth. I couldn't look at her. Every smile, every touch, felt like a lie. That night, I lay awake in bed, staring at the ceiling, my mind racing through 1,000 terrible scenarios. The next day, I told Clara my car would be in the shop for a week, a lie to keep access to her SUV. I had to know the truth. With the kids at school and Clara at work, I began my investigation. The car, her pristine sanctuary, was now a crime scene. I checked the navigation history. My heart hammered against my ribs as I saw a recurring address saved under the name Sanctuary. It wasn't her office, it wasn't her parents' house or a friend's. It was the address of a boutique hotel on the other side of town, the Blackwood Hotel. My mind flashed back to the cufflink. I took it out of my pocket and examined it again. The knot design seemed familiar, but I couldn't place it. I decided to go to the hotel. Posing as a man planning a romantic getaway, I asked the concierge about their suites. As he showed me photos, I saw it. The hotel's logo, stitched into their robes and printed on their stationery, was the exact same knot design as the cufflink. It wasn't a personal item, it was a piece of hotel merchandise, a souvenir. The realization hit me like a physical blow. This wasn't a one-time thing. The saved address, the cufflink from the hotel, this was a regular occurrence. My perfect wife, the mother of my children, had a secret life. The lies weren't just about a dinner, they were about everything. The next few days were a blur of fake smiles and hollow conversations. I was an actor in my own life, playing the part of the happy husband while secretly gathering my evidence. I needed to know who it was. The who was the part that would either shatter me completely or give me the strength to fight back. I got my answer at our annual family barbecue. My cousin Mark was there with his wife. Mark, who I had always been close to. Mark, who I had helped get an internship at Clara's firm years ago, kickstarting his own successful legal career. As he leaned over the grill to flip burgers, his short sleeve rode up, revealing a silver watch, and next to it, on the cuff of his shirt, was a single silver cufflink, a knot. He was missing its partner. Time seemed to slow down. The sound of the kids laughing, the sizzle of the grill, the cheerful chatter of my family, it all faded into a dull roar. Mark caught me staring. He smiled, oblivious. "Like it?" he asked, gesturing to the cufflink. "Clara got them for me, a little gift for helping her land the Henderson account." Clara. My wife gave my cousin a gift from the hotel where they were having an affair. The audacity of it, the sheer disrespect, burned through my grief and forged it into cold, hard rage. It wasn't just a betrayal of our marriage, it was a betrayal of our entire family. That's when I knew I couldn't just confront them. I couldn't just have a screaming match and break our family apart in a messy, chaotic way. They didn't deserve a quiet exit. They deserved to be exposed for the liars they were in the same way they had lied to everyone around them. I spent the next month planning. It was our 15th wedding anniversary. Clara, ever the social planner, wanted a huge party. To celebrate us, she'd said with a smile that now made my skin crawl. I agreed, encouraging her to invite everyone, our friends, our colleagues, and of course, our family. All of our family. On the night of the party, our backyard was transformed. Twinkling lights were strung through the trees, and a caterer served champagne. I stood at the center of it all, a glass in my hand, watching Clara move through the crowd, the perfect hostess. I watched Mark schmooze with my parents, his arm around his unsuspecting wife. When the time was right, I tapped a glass for a toast. The crowd quieted down. I started by talking about our 15 years together, about the beautiful life we had built, the children we adored. Clara beamed, tears welling in her eyes. Then my tone shifted. "A marriage, like a successful law practice," I said, looking directly at Clara, "is built on a foundation of trust, disclosure, and partnership. And when one partner conceals assets, or, say, a secret partnership, the entire structure is compromised." Confusion flickered across her face. Mark froze mid-sip. "I've learned a lot about secrets lately," I continued, my voice steady and clear. "For instance, I learned that my car breaking down was the best thing that ever happened to me. It led me to borrow my wife's car. And in that car, I found a little souvenir." I pulled the single knot cufflink from my pocket and held it up. A souvenir from the Blackwood Hotel. A place I've never been, but it seems my wife and my cousin Mark are very frequent guests. They even have it saved in her GPS as Sanctuary. The silence was absolute. Every eye in the yard darted between Clara, Mark, and me. Mark's wife, Sarah, looked at him, her face a mask of confusion and dawning horror. "They celebrated landing the Henderson account there," I said, my voice dripping with ice. "Paid cash for a $600 dinner, a detail she forgot to mention when she came home late from work. But don't worry, I have the receipt." I threw a packet of printed evidence onto the table, copies of the hotel receipts, phone records, screenshots of texts I had recovered. It was all there, in black and white. Clara's face was ashen. Mark looked like he was going to be sick. I turned to Clara one last time. 15 years, I said, my voice finally breaking with the weight of it all. Happy anniversary. The divorce papers will be served on Monday. I walked away from the party, away from the wreckage of my marriage, and went inside to my sleeping children. I watched them for a long time, the only two truly innocent people in this whole mess. The pain was immense, a gaping wound in my chest. But for the first time in months, I could breathe. The truth, how ugly, had set me free. My life was no longer a lie built inside the clean, vanilla-scented interior of my wife's car. It was mine again, and I would rebuild it from the ground up.